Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to tell you, I told you so. I have the summary and analysis of Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo chapter 11. And yes, it was the chapter of silliness and everybody being happy before hell. It's like the baseball episode from, the main series. Because at the end of the day, this manga is still written by Akutami. Everybody's going to die next freaking chapter. Like, we even had a romantic stupid moment. It was so beautiful and all for nothing. Also, I told you so about Megumi and Dabura, remember? But I'm getting ahead of myself, so before getting started with the chapter, I would like to remind you all that I have social media where you can follow me and not miss any of my content. Thank you very much. The links are going to be in the description below. I also started to live stream here on YouTube. I'm gonna try to do it as much as I can because my computer cannot handle it that much, but I will try. Now, with nothing else to add, let's begin the chapter. We start with Usami and Mino talking about another huge topic in the whole manga, and that is, of course, the possibility of using cursed energy as actual energy. It was the reason why a lot of Japanese citizens have been forcefully removed from their country. It was something that was already explored in Jujutsu Kaisen, or at least mentioned, and kind of like show a little bit of it with the cooling game and all the things that Kinjaku was doing. Anyways, these two guys are discussing the fact that the mothership of the Simorians work entirely with cursed energy. So if all that could be shared with the humans and the research that they've been doing on this, a new energy revolution will happen, but at the same time, it would cause the hunt of even more people that possessed cursed energy. So obviously all of this needs to remain a secret, at least for the time being. Usami is once again on the side of thinking of the majority of people. Revealing this could bring in some good things, but it would also cause more pain than good. There are a lot of things that need to be discussed and a lot of laws that need to be in place in order to make all this as safe as possible. And it's of course very important to have good relationships with the Simorians in order to make all this work. Because if all of this is not done before revealing this thing, there's going to be an awful mess. So Mino comes up with the brilliant idea of a political marriage between Japan and, of course, the Simorians. And bro, if I could, I'd marry Dabura. Like, I would volunteer myself to do this, or Dura if he was alive. Anyways, the point is that they need like really strong relationships to hold this whole thing together. Moving on to Tsurugi, Maru, Yuka, and Cross. All four are working on the preparations for this dinner party that they were talking about in the previous chapter. They're trying to gather the best ingredients, which apparently is an octopus with a single tentacle. I love Yuka with my entire heart, by the way. She is beautiful, the light of this world. Just look at her. And with the respect of her illness, the problem that she has, she is taking medicines, but she still hasn't said a word to Tsurugi. Only Cross knows about this. And the reason's because she doesn't want any special treatment. Going back to the octopus, I had to Google that thing. Because I did really thought they were serious, but no, they're not. So Maru and Tsurugi are in charge of getting the octopus because they're apparently very hard to find. I want to say that this right here is brother behavior 100%. Tsurugi really trying to scare Yuka with these things at the same time that he talks about wanting to protect her. It's beautiful. Despite the bad record of siblings in Jujutsu Kaisen, Akutami does an amazing job depicting the relationships. So this takes us to the conversation that had everybody fighting for their lives. Some trying to understand it, others completely missing the point. Some others that didn't even read the chapter or the manga at all and still talked about it. And others trying to explain it. Is Gege Akutami a misogynist? The answer is, of course, no. Jesus Christ. Seriously, people, you need to... I invite you to read more, please. But can we have sometimes misogynistic or patriarchal views without even really knowing? Yes. Like all of us. Like all of it. This can happen to all of us. That's what this conversation between Maru and Tsurugi is about. The patriarchy is so deep into our society that unlearning certain things is hard. Things that for many, many centuries have been seen as normal and not harmful, like still to this day, like things that you would go and like, oh, that's okay. But that at the end only perpetuate the ideology of men being superior to women, or the idea that we need to always be under the control of man, and it's all covered under this idea that they need to protect us because we can't protect ourselves or things like that. That's it. That's what the conversation is about. A lot of people misinterpret it as this character's being misogynistic, that this character supporting the patriarchal society that they live in, and that is not the case. It's not that they want to be misogynistic or perpetrate this thing. They are acknowledging how wrong it is, but they also understand where it's coming from and the fact that it takes time to unlearn these things because they feel so normal for them, because they've been engraved into their minds ever since they were born. Portraying misogynistic themes in media does not make you a misogynist. And this is a case for all the delicate topics in media, not only this one. But of course, it also depends on the connotation that you give it. What type of light are you shading over this? Is the light of, hey, doing this and thinking like this is good? Or is the one that only uses these topics as shocking value because you are incapable of writing a compelling story? Or are you showing it as the bad thing that it is, giving it a purpose in your story and treating it with the respect and seriousness it should be treated? Which one of these three is? Every time Gege Akutami tackles the topic of misogyny in Jujutsu Kaisen and now in Modulo is under the third option. It's always showing that it's bad. He also gives it a purpose. It's not just thrown in there just for the sake of having it there. It's also something that ties down to the main plot of the story. And it's never something that is just brushed off or treated as a joke. Never. We see it with the things that Kenjaku did to Choso's mother, so much so that the death paintings are based on something that's called 9 stages of decay or 9-phase diagram. This was created based off women suffering. I really invite you to Google it and read it, but like actually go through the whole thing, not just, oh, it's just to depict the decomposition of the body. No. Read the whole thing. Read the story. Read how this thing originated. We also see it, of course, with Maki and her whole clan, and more specifically with Naoya Senin. He's there to make like this point much more obvious than what it already was. So no, in Jujutsu Kaisen and Modulo, the portrayal of misogyny is not telling you that it's good, or that you should do it, or that Gege Akutami is misogynist. Maru and Tsurugi are not misogynistic either. Like I said, they are the product of a patriarchal society and are trying to unlearn everything. Now, whenever this topic comes up, people always love to bring in Nobara and all the other girls from Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm going to tell you that that is an entirely different topic, and I'm going to talk about it, but not in this video. It's going to be on my other series where I analyzed all the episodes of the anime and all the chapters of the main manga. So anyways, the dinner finally happens, and we get to see the Simorian women that up until now were pretty much isolated in the mothership. Humans are of course stressed out of their minds because this is very important. And guess what? Jujutsu High has a nutritionist now. I know that this might not be important for a lot of people, but it is important to me because they went from eating trash from vending machines to actually have somebody to guide them with their freaking food. This is might be something very small, but it shows that they do care more about Jujutsu sorcerers in general, and they don't see them just like freaking weapons. So we have a bunch of important people sitting at one table. Usami and Javeloma are talking with Dabura about his sister because she was cursed before leaving their planet. That is how they forced him into fighting Dura. You see? I told you. I freaking told you that Dabura and Megumi were parallel. They both even have a sister that it's cursed. It's not just having a sister, no. Both of their sisters are cursed. And they did things that they didn't want to do because of their sisters.
I told you, see?
But anyways, obviously it's in the best interest of humans to try to find a way to help Dabura. At the end of the day, Dabura is at the head of the council that they have, and he can veto decisions, so they really need him to be in their debt to, prevent anything bad from happening. So obviously Usami is immediately invested into this and is assuring him that they will find a way to help her. They even mentioned the rope that Miguel uses as a possible way to, get rid of this curse. This is where our shoujo moment happens, and Tomoe sees Dabura for the first time. And my girl, I get it. I freaking get it. She represents me so hard. She falls in love with him, of course. I would too, girl. Usami actually considers Mito's idea of a political marriage. He believes that it might be able to work. And Javeloma also, look at him. I know what you're thinking, sir. I know exactly what you're thinking. And I agree with this. I like this idea. Come on. Dabura is incredibly adorable, by the way. Between the fact that he doesn't really want any attention and that he doesn't really want to be the strongest, but he is the strongest and he has no option but to deal with it. And how caring he is toward his sister. And this stupid panel, I love him. I love him so much. This panel is what solidified him as my love. So like I said, everybody's happy. Everybody is so happy. Look at Crossed. He really believes that there is a chance. That there is hope. After everything that happened, he still wants to believe that there's a chance of coexisting. But then we get a slap on the face and are reminded that this manga is written by our dear one-eyed cat. And we see Ozuki, of course, this freaking guy, and Boro. Boro is crying from his third eye, and we know that could mean death for the Romelians, and we also know the reason why they cry from the third eye. And it's because apparently Boro saw a human killing a Kalyan. Remember I told you about the possibility of Kalyans being their version of cursed spirits? On top of that, in this same chapter, it is explained that it was apparently a Kalyan that gave the Romelians their powers or their jujutsu. And remember who is capable of altering your brain in order to be able to use a curse technique? Yeah, and he just casually showed his face a couple of chapters ago. People are going to die next chapter. I don't know who, I don't know how, but things are going to get ugly and I am definitely not ready for this. I am not ready. I don't want it to happen. I really don't want it to happen. The manga is just so freaking heavy, and the fact that it's short doesn't make it any easier. Obviously, whether Bodo dies or not from this, a lot of Simorians are not going to be happy and will most likely start considering voting for war instead of coexisting. Dabura can still veto the decision one more time. He already vetoed it once. In the previous council, the one that we saw in the previous chapter, he didn't have to veto it. If they all vote for coexisting, he can also veto that decision and go to war. So it's a very difficult position. And it's just overall bleak. Dura's last request for Dabura was to protect the Romillions, and of course, most importantly, Maru and Cross. He doesn't want conflict right now, but that can change. And remember what I told you in the previous chapter? He's obviously against going to war, but if he has to do it, he will do it. So yeah, just bad news. Bad news all over this chapter. Man, I'm scared. I'm genuinely scared about next chapter. But anyways, that's it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for reaching the end of it. That helps me a lot. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. That's gonna help me a lot. It's gonna put me in the algorithm. Don't forget to like the video as well. That's gonna help me too. Thank you very much for joining, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.